Section 2. What happens when you remove this soul? And the removal was characterized by an absence of a concept of original sin, absence of the concept of Satan, so therefore no personal evil. Evil was collapsed into collectives, into identity politics. And in that, individual moral responsibility declines. And so my mother, she was a nurse. She was a touched individual. She was brilliant. She had reams of information before there was the internet. And being a nurse and being concerned with healthcare, her functional materialism collapsed into a kind of obsession with the body and taking care of it. My body, her body, our family's bodies. And so she became obsessed with safety, the dangers of cars, of not wearing a seatbelt, not wearing a helmet when you go biking, nutrition, all sorts of foods. And she wasn't wrong necessarily, but she was obsessed with how red meat causes cancer, artificial dyes cause cancer, the color TV. We weren't allowed to have a color TV until 1986. Color TV the radiation causes cancer. And all of this folded into her chronic anxiety. And so ultimately, this might be a little bit too much of a pat takeaway, but it hits. When you remove the soul, the anxiety moves into the body. Section 3. Another failure of this ethical system without theology was around pacifism, violence, and naivete. And so my parents treated violence as inherently evil. There's no category for defensive force. And I grew up among real violence in a city called Lancaster, the center of it, Black and Puerto Rican neighborhood. And then I moved to outside Philadelphia, Upper Darby, Italian, Irish Catholic neighborhood with some smattering of South Asians and East Asians. And so I was sent out to these environments expected to be some sort of missionary of secular humanism. I was expected to be pacifistic without being an adult and without being trained to do so. Gandhi and Martin Luther King were trained and trained their followers in pacifism. I was a child and I wasn't trained. And so there was actually, for my father, ideological blindness to this because he didn't want to confront the problem of moral evil, and then the fact that you would have to confront moral evil sometimes with force that he was ambivalent about. And so he just pretended like it wasn't happening. My mom, to her credit, tried to intervene by going to people that were violent with